It is Britain Hart Beltran back in business on Friday, June 24th in Hollywood, Florida. I guess, it's approaching quickly. So what's the emotion, the feel like right now as the fight's quickly approaching?
It is. It's kind of like rushing, getting everything in. As you can see, I look kind of a mess, because we got our early morning workout. In the middle of the day, we're doing pool workouts now. And at night, it's back in the gym, sharpening everything up. So it's 3 days, cramming as much as we can in. Really, this is the last week to do that because next week it's going to be tapering off. So this is kind of like the hell week. I look like
Well, we
hell, so apologize, but I'm in great spirits and mental. We know that this game is about mental. So mentally, I'm actually doing way better than I could imagine.
I was gonna say, if this is Hell Week, you seem to be doing okay. You kind of still got the upbeat personality, feeling good right now. So things must be going all right.
They are.
Fantastic. Talk to me. You were supposed to fight in May, of course, right? And there was a medical emergency that forced you out. What can you share about that? I never heard details on. I mean, obviously, if it's private, feel free to keep it that way. But what happened?
Yeah, no, I can see that. It was really confusing because it was a hard time. I got offered the fight. I'm coming off this loss. So I was just really feeling super down and like really fatigued. And I was just thinking it was kind of from the depression of the fight. But turns out I was actually pregnant. And so it was like a whirlwind of emotions for that. And I feel like I feel the only little bit of lingering suffering is the fact that I was kind of upset because of this fight. I was like, man, I'm missing this main event fight. I want this fight so much, but what can we do? Like thinking I was like trying to do the math. I was like, well, the day of the fight, I'll be 12 weeks. I don't know. Maybe I just won't get hit, but it was kind of those emotions. And then as the weeks go on, I let some people know, but it's also scary because I'm like, well, you're not supposed to tell people until you're 12 weeks out of that first trimester. So it's kind of like an old school approach, pretty much for this reason. So the moment I decided, hey, I got to tell people because I don't want to be misleading on this fight. People buy tickets. I didn't get any sponsors. As you can see, I posted very limited about it. And I heard through the grapevine they're trying to find someone to replace me, but no one would step up. And so it was really stressful for me. I felt really bad. And then finally, I started telling people, getting excited right before my husband, Joey Beltran's fight. He wanted to go hear the heartbeat so we could announce it to the world at his fight. And we thought it would be a great time. And man, did we like royally F up because when we went to the doctor, they're like, there's not a heartbeat and it's your body, inside uterus is collapsing. So what it was is like a silent abortion, which is a miscarriage. And it's when you miscarry without telling it. So it sucked because I still have all the symptoms of being pregnant. My body thinks it's pregnant still, but really the baby wasn't growing inside. So it was really like more devastating, and I put it on myself because I was like, Joey was so excited and I feel like I mentally mind fucked him for his fight, and so I have to live with that. And then I'm like, why did I even get upset about this fight in the first place? Because losing this is way more than losing my title fight or losing the potential matchup with this. So it was definitely a rocky roller coaster dealing with it. And then not only that, my body still thinks it's freaking pregnant and we're waiting, just waiting. I felt like a time tick bomb. I'm like, oh my God, what am I just gonna be like, TMI, but like, like a murder scene one day? What's gonna happen? And so that was another long, painful process. But actually, I just got blood work done last week. So my body's finally reset to normal, but it literally just got cleared last week for it. So it's just a super long, painful process. But thank God we have friends and family. I still feel pretty upset in the fact that I don't think it's my fault, but I think I'm sad with the initial being upset about missing this fight. So then, my husband is so great. He's not mad at me, but I kind of felt like maybe he would be, but he's been really great about it. And it's like, wow, maybe it was fate and destiny. Like this fight was really supposed to happen. And it's super sad, but maybe my life was too happy and I forgot what that pain of losing something real, not a fight, like we're talking about real life, like the pain of that, and to kind of reset the things that I have been through in the past, keep going, in life, good things, bad things can happen to good people every day,
Man, well, thank you for sharing all that. I can't imagine how difficult that was to go through. And I'm sorry you had to deal with that. So, I mean, I guess this fight, jumping back in, I mean, was there any thought of, I need some time to myself? I need some time to maybe not just physically recover, but mentally recover as well? Or was it more of a situation of like, I want to restore some normalcy in my life and I need to get into a fight camp? Like, what was the decision making process like?
Oh, you're gonna find this crazy. It was wild because where it happened, I even told my boss, like, I can maybe I'll just fight May 12th anyways. You can't find a replacement for me and I'll do it. And everyone was like, whoa, Britain, no, you can't. And I'm like, no, I have to, this is my fault and I need punishment for this and need to know what this is like. And I told Joey, I was like, let's just see if I can do it. And it was literally right after like we found out. And like I said, I feel bad that my mind worked that way, but he went up there with me and watched me run 3 miles on the treadmill. It was fucking hard. And then I went out there to do 5 rounds of pad work with him just to see if I could do it and if I could get ready in 2 weeks. And I went and did it and I did it, but it was at the end I just sat there and I remember just like crying at the end of it, being like, this is gonna be freaking hard. And he was like, well, you can do it. I believe in you if you want to. And I was like, man, this is going to be fucking hell every day. And I had all my family and friends message me. They said, we urge you, please don't take this fight May 12th. Like, please don't. And I was like, I really had to toy with it, to be honest with you. I really needed like a self reflection, like, dude, just walk away. But I was like, this is what fighting's about. I'm able, I'm not gonna hurt anything. I'm going through pain. I'm gonna take it out on Bec Rawlings. And it's gonna be, just sheer anger and I'm gonna probably cry after and whatever. And then finally, after 2 or 3 days, I was like, yeah, I text my boss. I was like, I really can't fight. I'm so sorry. And he was like, I totally understand. We're gonna postpone it to June 24th. And I was like, what? Really? And I was like, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, man, I was like, well, I really better take this moment and that 3 miles on the treadmill and pad work to realize how hard that shit was to, you know, reamp it for this fight. But me and Joey talked about it and he was like, is that going to be enough time? And I was like, you know what? If we don't have this fight, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be sitting home in bed, depressed, crying, like this is a hard thing to go through. And sometimes I'm like mad at myself because I'm like, I have shelter, my kids are healthy, I have a husband who loves me, and I'm doing okay. And I should be happy. Like this is normal. It happens, 1 to 5 women, like let's just move on. But I would be just it was so hard. And finally my coach was like, look, Britton, you lost your title fight, you lost your baby, and then your husband lost his fight. If any person went through one of those things in a year, it would be hard. And you went through those things within a span of 2 months. Like, you really need to like self-reflect on this and know that it's okay to not be okay and you're in pain. And I really took that, for what it meant and was like, that's what I'm going to pour into this fight camp and think about it and make sure that I'm doing okay and I'm resting and recovering and I'm not killing myself, even though like it seems like I might be doing that anyways. But it's really helped. It really has. Like, I mean, the worst part about it is really my husband. And whenever I see him get upset and he gets choked up on it every once in a while when it comes up, it really hits hard on me. But right now, I'm just taking it and like not really compartmentalizing it, but talking about it like with you. I've been talking about it with my therapist. I have a physical sports therapist, and I have a lot of friends and people that have reached out that are like, the same things happened to me. This is what happened. It's really helped, and that's why this fight is so important because I want it to be like that's what I'm pouring the mental game and the struggling right now into is that I was meant to make an impact for everybody to see on the 24th. When I talk about the feeling, that's what the feeling is, like being rock bottom, being broken, losing something important, and then going out and showing up anyways.
Well, first, that's incredible advice from your coach, and it's incredible attitude from you. And just me personally, I hope you can release yourself from that blame. I keep hearing you say that it's your
Yeah.
fault. I mean, certainly not your fault, and I hope you can get to that. I know firsthand how difficult it is to go through this. So hopefully this process will continue for you. I guess it almost seems secondary talking about the fight itself, but I mean the fight is before the fight, just getting there. But as far as the matchup that takes place in the ring, what are your thoughts? I mean, you've had it before. It seems weird to say, like, does this rematch important to you and all that? It seems like it doesn't matter. It's just getting in there and having a fight. But what do you think about the fight with Bec Rawlings?
I always kind of look at it, and I think I messed up, and that's learning from your mistakes and your failures. And even last time, I looked at the rematch with Christine Ferreira as Christine Ferreira. And right now, I'm not even in the rematch against Bec Rawlings. I'm in the rematch against myself. Like, do I have what it takes? I'm really only fighting myself when I go out there. So, the rematch is important, but I've kind of shifted gears mentally. Like, the only person that's going to beat me is me. And the first time we fought, that's what I feel like. I didn't really step in. I had a good game plan, but I was a little timid on the things. And I had some like technical mishaps. I dropped my right hand. I kind of had this like bow and arrow thing. But I also did some great things. And so really at that fight, this is really what I keep telling myself during this fight camp. Whenever I get worried that it's Bec Rawlings and that my promotion promotes her and that everyone is like, oh, Rowdy Bec is back. No one cares that Britain's back. All that stuff I push to the side and I'm like, Joey, at very least, when I fought her the first time, I was at a YMCA. I had no coach. I had no sparring partners. I had no guidance. I was eating terribly. I was working my ass off. And, my daughter lived with me at the time. So it was hard. It was really hard. And, I was alone. This fight, I've been training my ass off basically since I fought her. That was kind of like the opening when I lost to Bec Rawlings in a split decision. Everybody messaged me and said, you would have won if you had a team behind you. Everybody, that was what they said. And some people were like, oh, you got robbed. You got robbed on a solo level. But if you had a team behind you, you would have won. So literally since 2018, I have been on this wild goose egg hunt for a team, and I've come across some really good ones. I've been out in Puerto Rico. I still love them. I've been out in California. Still love them. I found finally a great gym in Danville, Virginia, which is where I'm kind of from, and I found one in Miami. And I'm really like solidified that way. Like I can't give the excuse, oh, I don't have support, I don't have training, I don't have access to it, because I'm in like the hot zone for it. And I train every day. I've quit my job since the Paige Vincent fight. So I'm really just even with the terrible medical emergency, just imagine how hard it was for me. I was still in the gym. I was watching Joey spar every day and work out. And I'd be like, like sick or tired or just drained. But I was still in a gym. I was still watching. I'm still absorbing it. So at very least, me going into this rematch, I don't even have to. I've already been there, done that with literally zero. So to me, this fight is me conquering. But yeah,
That's
this
okay.
fight is me conquering my demons on basically from February till now. Like that's really my struggle point right now. It's not Bec Rawlings. It's from February to literally June 24th. Am I, do I have what it takes in here to get past this and do it composed, not wild, like do it with intent and compose and intelligence that my skills are indeed better and that I am indeed better and that I can be the best if I really apply myself.
I think it's amazing that you're sharing all this because while maybe not this extreme, I think so many fighters, experience so many things outside the ring, outside the cage. I think fans sometimes don't realize like what's going in, and maybe they see a performance in a fight, and they go, "Oh, what was that about?" And you're like, you have no idea what this person was dealing with in the lead up to this. And so I think it's very brave of you, I think, to talk about this. And I think it really shines a light into what fighters do. Like I said, maybe not this extreme, but that so many fighters have to deal with, going into every fight.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, not even to take the spotlight off of me, but just imagine like when Joey went into his fight, how hard it was, and the amount of things people said afterward was just like, I mean, I saw that was another thing we had to get through, like some horrible, mean things. And Joey's dedicated like 15 years to the sport on like every level possible, goes in, has this horrible, tragic thing happen on the outside, and then people are just going to be so, I mean, they were like putting all these crazy things on Wikipedia and like, just call and then look, whatever. I don't know what's happened in other people's life, but the person that beat him on that day just fought this past weekend and he got knocked out the first round. I don't know what's going on in his life, whatever, but it can happen to any of us as fighters, going in there. But it's really trying to take the time to see what's going on the outside and like, hey, tough loss, whatever. You can be like, talk shit in the fact, oh, you got your ass knocked out. But all the personal stuff, I mean, it needs to really get like, I really wish people would take a moment to really think about what's going on in their lives and how they already feel like shit, and to bring their family and personal things in it and to say they're, looking down the line. I just think is kind of, I mean, if people really knew what was going on, maybe you'd think twice about the mean things you say.
Very well said. Very well said. All right. Well, listen, it's important that you get to this fight. Have you thought about what happens after the fight? I mean, at that point, after June 24th, do then you maybe take some time to process and deal with all this, or do you throw yourself back into another training camp to keep yourself occupied? What's the plan, do you think, after this fight on June 24th?
Yeah, I think that that's why this fight is so important. Because I really think it's going to like predict and show what's going down the road. So I'm kind of leaving that open past that. I said in the gym today, I said if I win this fight, everyone was like, "What?" And I was like, "No, if I'm gonna win, if I win by knockout." Which is really what like I'm really, really trying to do. And nothing against Bec, even though I really don't like her, but no disrespect to her. But I really have this goal to be the first female to have a clean knockout, like a night clean knockout. Like that's really what I want. And I've really been training for that for like it seems like a year now. So I haven't really gotten it quite yet. But you hang around a barbershop long enough, you're gonna get haircut. So this is really one of those efforts that I've really been trying. So I hope I do that. And if I do, I said I was going to get my teeth because I've had some teeth issues in my fight. So I'm missing one of my front teeth. So I'm going to get my teeth all fixed and be perfect. And so I'm super excited about that. Other than that, I feel like maybe resetting could be something, to kind of build with a family with Joey. And then I also think, I know that the belt is already on the line with Christine and Taylor. So I was thinking about doing something kind of epic in the ring, like, bringing a scale, stepping on that scale, weighing about probably 123 and saying, you know what? It's okay that the 125 belt is being fought for in August, but I'm going to go ahead. I want the 115 belt because there's a lot of girls at 115. I want the 115 belt, and then we can rematch the 115 champ against the 125 champ for the pound for pound champ. And I really think, in the future, really working after this fight and this momentum and doing that I have the ability to do that. And I'm really predicting Christine to win in this fight. So it will probably be a trilogy match against her. But I really think you guys can see the improvement. I'm right there. So if I was a second round stoppage stop to Christine and I went the distance to a very, very, what I thought was, extremely close. I'm not going to say, it could have gone either way, whatever, but it was really close. So if I'm looking back on a split decision, major robbery fight, I'm predicting those are my goals to be, get a knockout, the first
I
clean
lo-
knockout.
I love it. Well, hopefully it happens soon. Maybe it'll be in this fight, but we'll let you get back to Hell Week, Britton. And thank you so much for sharing everything. I know you've been through a lot already, so we'll look to see it all on display in the ring on June 24th.
Absolutely. Thank you. And definitely look forward to it. I can't wait to see what's next.